Hello everyone and welcome back to the Whatever the I Want podcast, where I, your host Gabby, get to talk about whatever the I want. And today the weather's a little bit better, so we are going to be doing a yap session outside while I draw. So we're gonna yap and draw. I essentially had the idea of drawing a flamingo, and I do have another tripod here set up. That way I can also try to get more footage. How much footage I will get, we'll just figure it out. Today I went to the gym, and then I had to go buy some things for Mother's Day. And so basically for Mother's Day, I just ended up buying some gift cards for the moms in our life. And we're going to be celebrating it today because family's going to be out of town. So we decided to celebrate it early, which is interesting because Mexican Mother's Day is tomorrow. So we'll be celebrating it today. And I don't know anybody else, but are any of you who are Mexican, do your moms expect for you to celebrate both days? Because my family is totally like that. Also, and then today I worked on, it was a glute day. And so it was interesting because whenever I went to the store to, buy whatever I needed, I'm walking and I'm on the phone with my friend Andrew, and lo and behold, a car pulls up to me. And I had my AirPods in, so I didn't hear what they said. And then I take one out and I'm like, what'd you say? And they're like, I just want to tell you that you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. And I was like, oh, thank you. It was just really unexpected because I don't know, it was the last time somebody pulled up to me and rolled down their windows and gave me a compliment. It's happened before, but it's been a while since it's happened. And so that was nice. And then, since I was on the phone with my friend Andrew, he's like, oh, I've heard the difference between when it comes to catcalling, which I didn't necessarily feel like I was being catcalled. He was like, it depends on your attraction to the person. And I was like, yes and no. I feel like it can, depend on that. But I think a big part of it too is but what are they saying? If somebody's sitting here saying hey, yo, little mama, your ass is fat. No, that's an immediate no for me. But if, somebody, says I just want to tell you you're so pretty or whatever, I feel like it doesn't really matter on what they look like. A compliment's a compliment. And then also from there, it depends on are they antagonizing you? Are they pressing for information or anything? Because I feel like if that's also the case, then yeah, it's a little different. But yeah, it's a little windy out and slightly chilly. So we'll see. I'm really only out here to film the episode. I mean, honestly, earlier, I'm in the shade. I feel like in the sun it'll feel great, but it's a little chilly here in the shade. And I don't know where the seat covers are. I think they're in the basement, and the last thing I want to do is walk down to the basement and get it. So I was like, we're gonna make it work. So yeah, I'm just gonna draw a flamingo, which I don't think I've ever actually drawn before. And if you didn't know this, flamingos, their color actually comes from what they eat. They eat a lot of shrimp, and that's actually what gives them that color. I believe that they're translucent. And then it's this color, this pink that comes from the food that they eat, which is interesting. So if humans were like that, what color would you be? I'd probably be a little red, because I do eat quite a bit of strawberries. I don't really know what's a staple in my diet. Guys, I've been eating brown rice. It's totally an acquired taste. I've tried eating it before because my sister-in-law would make it and we'd be like, bleh. And at first, the first couple of days, I'm like, oh, I don't really like this. And then now I'm starting to get used to it. I'm like, oh, it's not so bad. It does have a very earthy taste to it. So if you don't like that, I do not recommend brown rice. I did get invited to go to New York. So that might be another trip that I do here pretty soon. I am planning on going home very soon, to see my family and to, you know, for a wedding. I have a wedding to go to, which I'm excited about. I love love. I love celebrating things. And so, yeah, that's basically what's been happening. Throne of Glass. I'd been not reading it because in the Artist Way, you're not, like for an assignment, it was like you can't read anything. So then I finished up Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died. And then, so emotional. I will say it should come with trigger warnings because I do know some people in my life who have like eating disorders and things like that. So I do wish that it would have provided trigger warnings for people who, you know, might not be in the right headspace to read or hear something like that. Also, do you believe audiobooks count as reading? Because at first I didn't. And then now I feel like it does count because, you know, you're still like, you know, like it's almost like a podcast, but you are still like learning something or still like engaging yourself in something other than social media. So I feel like it does count. But let me know in the comments what you think. So yeah, I guess we'll see. Let me actually take a peek at this. Let's see if it's in focus. It seems like it is. We got a little bit of a flamingo going. Yeah, so I have Bulo out here. He's our dog, and man, he's a big boy. And so he was like stepping on stuff and like coming in between. Like I called him over and he was going underneath the table to get to me, and then his chain got stuck, and I was like, bro, speak to the devil. Let me fix my necklace. Okay. I'm gonna tuck these in because they're getting like caught. Yeah, so yeah, basically that's what's going on in my life. Nothing super crazy. I feel like I'm a little bit quieter because I am outside, and I'm like, are the neighbors gonna be nosy? Because, you know, some people are nosy. Are y'all nosy neighbors? And then the police were at like another neighbor's house, and I was like leaving in the morning, and I was like, ooh, baba biba. Ooh. Yeah, still trying to get used to talking and doing all this. Nico was watching us earlier. I want to get him in the habit of coming outside. I need to like train him to go on the leash. But it's also like whenever he comes outside and we bring him in the backpack, he whines, he cries, and so I don't like hearing him cry. It doesn't make me feel good, you know. It's like a mama hearing her baby cry. You're like, oh no, I can't take it. Like, what can I do to like make you feel a little bit better? And so like some car rides he is a little bit better, others he's not, and so the last thing I want to do is stress little man out. So yeah, if you have any tips or tricks on how to train a cat, I've been thinking about getting him like a ¿cómo se dice? Like a, not like a carrier because he has one, but like a stroller. Like, yeah, like a stroller. And I feel like he might, oh, speaking of the devil, he's literally right here looking at us from the window. And he's a little cutie pie. I have to open up the blinds in the morning for him because or else he will be a butt and be like, meow, 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 meow. Thankfully, he's not like one of those cats that cries for food because we have an automatic feeder. But I know people who have automatic feeders and their cats still do that. Thankfully, Miko's not like that. I'm trying to figure out what color background we're going to want to do. But I guess for now, let's finish up the face. I almost want to do some yellow in here. Is that weird? I just like the combination, the blend of colors. Yeah. It's just pretty. So yeah, I'm planning on taking some trips. My family was talking about how the goal for the year should be for each of us to read 3 books. And they were joking around how basically I would be the only one to complete this goal. But I mean, one of my sister-in-laws, she reads, she reads. And then, you know, like my family does listen to like podcasts and stuff. But yeah, let me know if you think an audiobook counts as reading. And I joked around. I was like, oh, like by the end of the year, I'll have read enough books for all of us. And we're a big family. So imagine like if each person's supposed to read 3 and then there's like 8 kiddos and then the rest of us adults. Like, that's still a lot of books. But anyway, so Throne of Glass is available for me now. And then so I started reading it last night, and I read it while on the bike today. And so far, pretty interesting, because I tried Crescent City. I was not able to get into it. So I just like passed it up. I was like, let somebody else read this who, wants to give it a try. So yeah, and then I've been trying to like kind of get ahead of like filming, and it's just a couple days, but it's like at least I'll have, some of the weekend to enjoy. So I've been trying to like film basically the days that episodes are released. That way I can, have some time to edit the other like Artist Way videos on my personal channel, and then yeah, just like all of that good stuff. Why don't we do some orange in here? So at the zoo, what is your favorite animal? Mine is a penguin. I love penguins. I've loved them for so long that I truthfully couldn't tell you when I started loving them. I think that the main reason why I love them is because they mate for life. And I just think that that's so romantic. I'm like, oh, they mate for life. Like, I love that. That's so cute. It's so beautiful. So yeah, that's like the main reason. And they waddle, and like there's just so many reasons why they're so cute. And that's why Piplup is like essentially my favorite Pokemon, because it's a penguin. So yeah, that's basically what's going on in my life. I don't know if I really have any major updates. But yeah, so back to catcalling. So do you think, I don't feel like this person was catcalling me though. I feel like catcalling is like when they kind of like degrade you, and this person didn't degrade me. They're like, oh, like you're gorgeous, whatever. But I do feel like there's a very big difference if like somebody's genuinely, or I guess like their intentions behind it. If somebody's trying to like holla at you and it's so windy. And they're like talking about your body, I feel like that's where the disconnect is. Like if you're saying like, oh, that ass is fat, or like, oh, like, I don't know, like, when you can just feel their like, or their vibe, and you can just feel like, oh, this person has not so good intentions, or they're like objectifying me. I think that that's where the disconnect is like if somebody's like objectifying me, then no matter who it is, it's like ick. But if somebody's like, oh, like you have pretty eyes, you have pretty hair, or like I like your vibe, whatever, like I feel like that's entirely different. Yeah, so I need to be reading 30 pages a day to try to get this book completed before the thing is up. So I already read like 20 something for today, and so that's going to be another one of my goals for today, is to finish reading them, because I know I'm going to be busy later. When you just like can just tell you're not going to have time for something? That's just how I feel, because it's not that I haven't made the time. I have made the time. It's just, it's requiring more time than you'd expect. 30 pages a day is a lot of reading. But it's just so that I don't have to like extend it when it comes to it being, what do you want to call it? Like needed on Libby, like when you need to return it back. So yeah, I've been doing really good about like not scrolling on social media. Today I turned off my notifications because it was mainly Instagram that was like taking a hold of my time. Well, and don't get me wrong, like I scroll on TikTok, but like in terms of like people sending me stuff, for some reason, more people send me stuff on Instagram than on TikTok. But it's like I just don't have the time to be like distracted by social media, and like especially now with reading another book, I just feel like the last thing I want is to be distracted. Like I want to be able to just like hone in, and I've been practicing the uke more, and so it just feels really good to just like be prioritizing me, because at the end of the day I am my own biggest priority. Like Bula was frustrating me earlier, and I was like, I'm not ready to have kids, like, because I basically felt like my mom, like talking through my teeth to like a dog. I was like, get over here, and I'm like, oh, I'm not ready for that point in my life. I think I'm just gonna make this water higher, and then we will go from there. I did draw Yor recently from SpyxFamily, and I had drawn Anya, and so it just feels good to just be like drawing again, and I started rewatching New Girl. So funny. You forget like how funny shows are. You know, like you remember like, oh, this is funny. And then you start watching it again and you're like, fuck, I forgot how funny this was. And then I watched a video from Last Meals, which is like a talk show, essentially similar to Hot Ones in the sense that it's like a person interviewing a celebrity, but it's very, very different in the way that they go about it. So basically the guests get to pick what their last meal would be. So some people pick like, a lot of people pick stuff from like Nobu or like sushi or like home cooked meals or Mexican food or like Post Malone, like, you know, a lot of his was like junk food. And then you'd just basically talk about like life and death. And I watched one with an interview with Brain Hart, and it was just so interesting to just like kind of see his perspective on life and death, and just like how as a society we need to come together. And, you know, he even had you like stop and think like, okay, what would happen if world peace would exist? Like, what exactly does world peace look like? And it looks like, you know, like relying on your neighbor. It looks like countries being able to rely on one another and to, you know, if one's going through a famine, like being able to export foods into their country. And like, that's what like world peace is. It's not just like not having war. Like we can, like he was saying, like we can imagine like not having war, right? Like that's something that like we feel like is tangible, but it's like these other things like, you know, like people being able to help others, that is a little bit harder to imagine. And he was saying like now more than ever, like we need compassion. And he also brought up a good point of like not calling, because he has several nonprofits, at least from what I understood from the interview. There was definitely one that was in Haiti, but there might have been other ones. And he said he didn't like the term charity. And I thought it was interesting because he was saying that charity essentially implies like pity. And, I don't need this anymore. I had a reference pulled up. That it essentially implies pity. And I had never necessarily thought about that. And so I kind of agree with him that whenever people are like, I'm donating to charity, it almost just feels like transactional. Like I'm just going to one and done, like donate. And like, I'm not necessarily connecting with them versus like having a nonprofit, you are trying to connect with these people and you are empathizing with their situation. And I think that that's like a big thing that we need more in this world is just compassion towards one another. You know, like if somebody at the grocery store like says something rude to you, or like somebody skips you in line, and like maybe it's a mom who, you know, just has like a bunch of baby formula, you know, like just be mindful that like other people have other things going on in their life. I'm not saying that it entirely is an excuse to somebody being like rude or disrespectful. Obviously, I think it depends on the situation, but be compassionate to others. You know, like if you see somebody with less things in the grocery line, like let them skip you, you know, or if you're not, you know, you have more time in the world and, you know, this person looks like they, you know, are on a business call or like they're doing something, like let them skip you. Like it's okay. And like, honestly, I'm a firm believer that things will always come back to you. Always, 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 no matter the situation, whether it's good or bad. So that's why I feel like it's important to just be kind to others, and good things are always going to come back to you whenever you do good things. Like karma is so, so, so real. And I've been like more connected lately. So like example, like one of my friends, who we don't necessarily talk to one another frequently. But today I had the calling to like send her a quote that I had seen on Headspace. And, you know, I'm like, I don't know what people are going through. So it's like, whenever you do have those like inklings to reach out to somebody to check in, like that's your sign to do it. Like there's no reason for you to just kind of ignore these feelings. Miko left. You know, like listen to your heart, listen to what's being told to you, and ultimately just care about other people, you know, like it just helps the world go around. And disconnect, you know, another close friend of mine recently went into the mountains and like disconnected from social media. And I think that that's so admirable because we get so caught up in our phones and in this digital world that it's like, I need my next fix, you know, and like disconnect, like you're okay, hang out with your friends, like have a night where you know, even if you like make silly PowerPoints about like what you do for work, because like everybody seems to not know what their friends do for work, and I am one of them. I could have a whole conversation with somebody about their job, and then another friend would be like, how's their work? And I'm like, girl, I couldn't even tell you what they do. And like one of my friends is finishing up medical school, and here I was thinking like she's on year 2, she's done. Like, that's so crazy. Like time just like flies by, absolutely flies by. And I've just been overall like really happy with where I'm at in life. I feel like just really grateful. I called my grandparents the other day, and you know, I for the most part I'm pretty good at calling them. But oh my gosh, you know, you kind of hear my grandpa's voice and you can just hear that he's getting really tired. And so, you know, I have been, you know, like emotional getting off the phone with them, just because it's like, you know, I don't know how much time I have left with them. And it is tough being far away, but that's not to say that I can't still connect with them and bond and reach out. So if you are also like in a long distance relationship with your family, like take the time to reach out. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your loved ones, and, you know, reassure them that like regardless of the distance, like you're still there, and, you know, you still want to be a part of their lives. And yeah, that's just a little food for thought. It's actually like flew by being able to draw here. Yeah, I feel like this is basically almost done. I want to add some like darker colors, and then I almost want to like just check, because I feel like the SD card for, or like my phone, like the app, the software I'm using for filming probably got full. So whatever footage you got of me drawing, I'm sorry, it is what it is. I'll have to clear out some storage, and then so I'm not sure exactly where we left off, because the SD card got full and I told myself like, oh, you should clear it out before you start filming. And of course, it ended up getting full. So that's a reminder to trust your gut. Yeah, so I will show y'all some close-ups of the drawing. It did seem like all of that was filmed, so that'd be really cool to see, just a different POV. So if there are any topics specifically that you want me to cover, feel free to comment them down below. I want to thank you all so much for being here and for allowing me to make quote-unquote silly little episodes like this that allow me to just explore other creative outlets while also getting to hang out with y'all. And I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and know that you are loved, you are appreciated, you are seen, and you are worthy of being here on this planet. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.